Recently I've decided to re-upload the scene from Double O Chipmunk, which I entitled in that short minute video, it's the famous sexy gadget scene we all know and love. And the reason I titled it that originally was because basically it is. I mean, when you really think about it, it's one of those scenes that no matter how many episodes and maybe even movies a show or a franchise has, it's one of those scenes that sticks with you from beginning to end. You never forget it. You never forget where you were when you first saw it. You never forget the lines. You never forget the moments in that one scene. And that's what the scene in Double O Chipmunk, where Gadget dresses up as her cousin, a femme fatale spy, you know, gives you. It gives you all of that. It gives you basically moments you won't forget. It gives you a scene you won't forget. It gives you a side of the character you never thought you would see. It gives you everything. And it's one of those moments that, Rescue Rangers had 65 episodes, 65 great episodes, and this one episode of the 65, Double O Chipmunk, gave you this moment you never could forget. And throughout my run here on YouTube, even though I cannot monetize off it because it's owned by Disney, I would upgrade that scene. I would use online-convert.com to, upgrade that scene to 1080p, to 4K, to 8K, and go from there. Now I've decided to try the 360 route, where basically you use, your remote or your mouse to basically, or even your phone itself, which I'm recording this on, to view in a circle a 360 image. And that's all cool and everything. That's all cool. And it's very experimental because even though this scene and basically the series itself was never meant to be viewed in 360, it's actually pretty cool to see of how it would look if they tried to do it. And there is a software that I use that originally I had thought had caused my computer this morning to kind of act up to the point that I had to hit the hard reset on it. But actually what it was, and I'm sticking to this, is it was the cold. It's become very cold over the past few nights and everything. And it makes me wonder if maybe the cold affected my computer somehow, because one of the things that helps my computer launch is, of course, like with any computer or laptop, is the internet. And if you have a Wi-Fi, wireless internet connection or an Ethernet connection for the internet, depending on what kind of internet connection you have or what kind of Wi-Fi you have, the weather can play a factor, whether people wanted to, deny that or not. And most times it is cold weather that sometimes will play a major factor because, let's say your cable that connects you to, let's say, your internet for your internet, if you will, is near the ground, near the ground, which is like the first to really get cold, it can act up. Or let's say the wires on the power lines can act up and they can cause a slowdown. Some say that in the cold it goes faster, and that is true, mostly for Wi-Fi, but it all depends on your location. But yeah, like I said, this is one thing that I looked up, and obviously it is safe to do because they have a Mac version and a Windows version. It's approved by Google, and I used it, like I said, to do a 360 video on Rescue Rangers, at least on this scene from Double O Chipmunk. And like I said, it's very experimental, and I will provide a link to the video at the end here where you could listen to the guy that showed off where you could find this file or this software. Very safe. Again, I thought it was, the reasoning my computer was acting up, but it's very safe. But you can find the software to basically download and utilize to create, if you will, 360 videos, 360 images, if you choose to do so. Now, with that said, as I mentioned, I went and tried it out with this scene, and it looked very, like I said, experimental. It looked a little weird, but you can definitely see, how it would look like if they attempted, probably better than me, attempted to do a 360 thing with, that scene or with that episode. But here's the reason I bring this up. here's the reason I bring this up. You see, when I basically, let me check it. What does it say? Oh, never mind. Just checking something. But like I said, when I basically uploaded that video, the 360 version, a few hours ago, it didn't even take a few minutes. Or felt like it didn't take a few minutes. And all of a sudden, I was up into double-digit numbers. I was going from 8 views. All of a sudden, I was like at 7 views, not even 5 minutes after it uploaded and premiered. And then after that, boom, it went up to 14. And now it's close to 40, if not 50, or at least getting there. And it shows you how popular and how memorable that scene is for a lot of fans. Because, there's a lot of, franchises out there that have a multitude of episodes, maybe even movies as well, like I mentioned, that, no matter how many times you watch those episodes, no matter how many times you watch the movies based on them, there's always going to be that one specific scene from one episode or movie that sticks with you. And this here, from Double O Chipmunk, this scene where Gadget dresses up as her femme fatale spy cousin, if you will, to help out Dale, to cheer him up, originally, is one of those scenes. Because like I said before about this episode, it is chock full of firsts. It's the first time we see a more intelligent, inventive, creative side of Dale, outside of his usual self. It's the first time we see the Rangers outside of the comfort zone. And it's the first time we see Gadget acting so, femme fatale and sexy, it blows our minds. A lot of people, when they originally saw me put this clip up around 2009, 2010, already, not only is it in the 150,000 view range, just about now as we speak, almost there, I should say, but it's got over so many likes and so many comments that some of the comments basically go along the lines of, well, here's where furries were born, or here's where the furry community was born, or, well, here's where my crush on Gadget began. You get all these different comments. And true, some of them are a little, I would say, insulting, if you want to look at it that way, or a little teasing. But, when you really think about it, there is some truth. There is some truth to some of the comments that get made. Yes, a lot of people look at this scene, and if you're part of the furry community, if you will, the furry fandom, you will point to this scene as being one of the scenes that got you into it. Because you'd never expect this to come to be. You never expect a character like Gadget to act this way. And here's the thing, too. When we first originally saw this scene get previewed, for the episode, even before the days of the Disney afternoon, like they would come on before the end credits for the show and say, tomorrow on Rescue Rangers, and you would see this scene. And then even when you initially saw it, if you didn't see the preview, your thought was, who is this? And then when you see it's Gadget, you're like, holy moly, that's Gadget? Wow, I didn't see that coming. Because you wouldn't expect it out of her. And here's the other thing that really got people's, attention. We always wonder who she would choose, right? And I've talked about this already. But she did something here that pretty much in my mind solidified the fact that Disney was, in my opinion, heading in this direction had things gone the way they were hoping, if not for what happened at the box office with Treasure of the Lost Lamp. And what I'm talking about is when Gadget kissed Dale. She didn't have to, kiss him after she says, I know you won't let me down, Super Spy. All she had to do was hug him, maybe kiss him on the cheek, and then leave. But no, she says that line, takes like a gasp, or does a little gasp, and then suddenly just kisses him on the lips. Like, she just went for it. And, you could agree maybe with Chip in saying that, she didn't have to do it that way. And you could probably say, oh, you're just excusing yourself for the fact that you wanted to do it, Gadget. When she says, well, isn't that what spies are supposed to do? And you can, like I said, you can look at that from either direction or either way. And still it sticks with you it sticks with you in a big way. It sticks with you in a memorable way, I should say, because it's the first on-screen kiss that we see in the series, outside of, Tammy kissing Chip in Adventures in Squirrel City at the end. It's the first time we've seen an actual on-screen, on-the-lips kiss on the show. And between the main characters, that being Gadget and Dale. Which, like I said, told me this may have been the direction that the showrunners wanted to go with the series, with the characters, had they been able to maybe do the original animated movie like they were planning. But we'll never know. And like I said, hopefully maybe we'll get some kind of answer with the movie. But yeah, it's, like I said, it's one of those scenes that you can't get out of your head. I mean, you're seeing Gadget dressed up like this. She's acting differently. She's acting sexy, femme fatale-ish, as Monterey puts it. She's basically pulling a map out of her upper region. It's like, okay, that was something. Like I said, it's just one of those scenes that, you look back at all 65 episodes that they did. If you will, as I put one of my posters back up there, at least, reapply the adhesive for the poster back on the wall. But like I said, you look at all the 65 episodes that they did, and all of them were good. All of them were pretty good. But when you look at this one episode out of the 65, and you look at the imagery at the beginning, the middle, and the end, it is no wonder that many people like myself consider it the best episode out of the entire series. And what's funny about this is this followed Song of the Nightingale, which also had hints of D&G shipping indications. Easter eggs, if you will. Just like this did. And, you say to yourself, well, not say to yourself, but you ask yourself at that time, and even nowadays, was Disney planning to go with Dale and Gadget had they, like I said, been able to do the movie, the original animated film, like originally planned? And I would say they would. And I would say, honestly, they were, in my opinion. It may not seem like that, to a lot of folks, but I think they were, just by a lot of these hints. A lot of these moments, I should say. But like I said, this scene here is one of those scenes that just sticks with you. You remember where you were. You remember, where you were. You remember what you were doing. Well, obviously you were watching the show, but you remember where you were as a kid and everything. It's one of those moments. It's just one of those moments that you just can't get out of your head because it's so memorable. It's just so memorable. Not just the episode itself, but this one scene. I mean, the fact that Gadget has tears in her eyes the night before and says, hey, if Dale wants to be a secret agent, I'm going to help him. Again, another hint at D&G. What? It's like, who was Disney trying to fool? Okay? Even kids I was 10 years old at the time when the show came out. And, even a 10-year-old, even, someone younger than me, like, let's say, my cousin, who was like 4 years younger than me, even she could see, honestly, without a shadow of a doubt, even she could see that Disney was planning something with these two. And this scene here, not only is it a memorable scene from a memorable episode, considered one of the best, but this scene here is chock full of D&G, indications. And like I said, the ending with her kissing him on the lips, the first on-screen, kiss on the lips, not on the cheek, but on the lips, in the series was between Dale and Gadget. If that's not, Tad Stones and the other showrunners sending a message of who they were going to finally have Gadget choose when the time was right, had things gone on the way they were hoping, I don't know what does. But again, just the fact that this scene, the original video post of this scene that I did is getting more comments and more views than it ever has. And it is at the top. When you go and check your analytics, okay? You go and check your analytics initially. That clip, this 1 minute clip, the original posting of this clip that I did back in 2009, 2010, and maybe 2011, I think. I gotta go back and look. But this original clip not only is showing me that it's gotten, when I watch it, in total almost 150,000 views, but this clip is getting into the near the 20,000 views a day range, or in the past 28-day range, if you will. It's getting close to that because it is at the very top, if you will. It is at the very, very top. Even if I cannot monetize off it, it is at the very top. Because not only is it at the very top because, let's say, the Ranger movie's coming out. It's not just because of that. It's the fact that this scene, is one of the most searched, when people look up Rescue Rangers here on YouTube, this is one of the more recommended, videos, scenes, clips, if you will, that shows up in the recommendations, in their search engines. And when they look at it, it blows their mind because it reminds them, if they're like me, what they saw originally as a kid. Or if they're seeing it for the first time or for the third or fourth time, they're seeing it as an older person that grew up in the generation afterwards. They're like, oh my gosh, this is where certain things were born from, or created from, or idealed from. And sometimes they say that in jest, there's no doubt, but still the point is it surprises them. And even surprises them how far, animation and cartoons were able to go even at that time frame. The thing is with this episode, like I said, it's chock full of first. And no matter what version, or no matter what kind of version of this scene that you put out there, whether it's the original 240p, 360p version, 480p version, whether it's a 1080p version, a 720p version, whether it's a 1080p at 60 FPS version, or a 720 at 60 FPS, or 4K at 60 FPS, or an 8K at 60 FPS, it doesn't matter. This scene is going to get a lot of attention because it is one of those scenes that, you just have to see to believe. Because you're so used to seeing characters, as they are. I mean, we're so used to basically, seeing Gadget like this, if you will, in this design, that we're not used to seeing her, outside of that. We're not used to seeing her in that femme fatale-ness like outfit. And here's the thing, it's not the first time she did, it wouldn't be the last time she would do it. She would put on a similar disguise a couple of episodes later in Mind Your T's and Q's. At least in the second half, that is. And here's what's crazy too. I truly believe, and I've stated this before, I truly believe that this scene, this episode, helped start a trend that went for a few episodes more in other series. I, to this day, believe that this started a trend where Disney decided, okay, that obviously is going to work with the audience. Audience is going to like that, so let's try it again with the next series. And guess what they did with Tailspin? Bringing down Babyface. Basically second half, basically the second act, if you will. What did they do? They dressed Rebecca up in a Starlight 40s like get up, lipstick, eyeshadow, the works. And then if that's not enough, you skip a series, you go to Goof Troop, episode Puppy Love. What do? In the third act, if you will, they have Peg dress up to help her son. And to me, in my honest opinion, this scene, this episode is what started it all. In my opinion. Now, you could disagree with that all you want. But it's because of this episode and this scene alone that I think help start that chain reaction where we saw, every other series doing it, afterwards. We saw Tailspin doing it afterwards. Then after Tailspin, skip Darkwing Duck. We went to Goof Troop, saw it there somewhat. It just was amazing to see. Amazing to see the influence, even before the episode came out, that it had on the future series in the Disney Afternoon. But yeah, it is one of those episodes that no matter how you visualize it, how you share it from a visual standpoint, either it's in, like I said, standard 480p, whether it's in 720p at 60 fps, or 1080p at 60 fps, or 4K at 60 fps, or 8K at 60 fps, or 4K at 120 fps. It doesn't matter, how you show it. It doesn't matter how you show it. It is one of those scenes that if you're watching it for the millionth time, or you're watching it for the 1 trillionth time, or you're watching it for the 3rd time, or the 10th time, or the 1st time, it sticks with you. Because if you're someone that's new to the Rescue Rangers, you're watching the episodes, you're used to seeing the characters as they are, and then you see this pop up, this episode, this scene, even today, it takes you back. It takes you aback because you're like, whoa, I did not see that coming. It's just one of those moments in time, in my opinion. One of those scenes and moments in time for any show, animated or live action, that sticks with you to the very end. And not just the very end of the series, but the very end of time, if you will, in my opinion. But let me ask you guys this, as I close out this video. Let me ask you this. What were your thoughts when you first saw this scene in Double O Chipmunk? How did you feel about it? Did it take you aback? Were you surprised? And do you believe maybe it influenced what we saw later on with bringing down Babyface and Rebecca's disguise there, as well as maybe Peg to an extent in the Puppy Love episode of Goof Troop? What are your thoughts? Comment down below. Live chat during the premiere, where super chats are open and would be appreciated. Super chats and super stickers, that is are open and would be appreciated. Whatever you could do, $1 to $5, doesn't matter. Whatever you can donate would be appreciated. So yeah, live chats will be open during this premiere, as well as, like I said, discuss it down in the comments below. Also check me out at BW Rose's Discussions and all your favorite audio podcast locations, except for Pandora. Also check me out at Vimeo at BW Roses for content you can't get here on YouTube due to copyright reasons. I do have a video coming out, hopefully very soon, which you guys can check out at Vimeo, which is very similar to the Speed Me Up situation, and hopefully we can get that, fixed later down the line. Not Speed Me Up, but this one is going to go on there very soon. Also check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses to support me with the $1, $3 tier. Check out my Teespring store for merchandise there that you'll probably enjoy. Some are related to Rescue Rangers. There is one that's advertised right now with my OC character standing side by side with Gadget like this. So if you want to check that out, it is below this video. So you can click on that and see what merchandise item you'll enjoy having. As well as check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer. And check me out at Venmo, I should say, at Brian-Walmer-2. That'll help donate there. Again, just like with the super chats and stickers, I should say, whatever you can donate at Venmo would be greatly appreciated. Also do the same at Cash App at BW Roses 98. But again, guys, let me know how you felt when you first saw this. Do you think this influenced what we saw later on in bringing down Babyface, the Bringing Down Babyface episode in Tailspin, as well as the 2nd to 3rd act in the Puppy Love episode of Goof Troop? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Live chat during the premiere, where, like I said, super chats and super stickers are open and would be appreciated. And until next time, guys, I am out. Thank you for watching.